Today's episode of Behind These Walls takes us to a corn crib on the Doggett family farm. A corn crib or a corn house is a type of granary for drying and storing corn. While some farmers still use them, the advent of the combine has caused the bulk of these structures to be repurposed. Combines remove the corn kernels during harvest, while grain dryers allow for safe storage in silos, bins, or sheds. A number of corn cribs are still standing in Isle of Wight County today. The family has repurposed the corn crib on their Courthouse Highway property. The building still tells the story of their agricultural roots.
The house here was built in 1870, according to the county tax records.
Jean Moody's grandparents moved to this house on the property in the 1930s. Everett Henry Doggett and Brenda Griffin Doggett had 4 children: Brenda Griffin, Everett Henry Jr., Alfred Dwight, and Eulabelle.
My father was Alfred Dwight Doggett. He was born August the 7th of 1921, and he attended the public school, which used to be situated down where Isle of Wight Academy is now. Back then they only had 11 grades, so he graduated in June of 1938. He then worked in the shipyard in Newport News until he joined the Navy after the World War II started. He joined the Navy in November the 30th of 1942, and he served in the Navy until January the 11th of 1946. Daddy said when he left the Navy, he had $15 when he went to draw his $300 mustering out pay from the military.
Farmers today can't start with $315, but with that sum, Dwight bought 2 tractors and financed other equipment. That season, he harvested and sold 800 bushels of corn, paid off the equipment, and had money left over. He later began farming rented land. He and his brother Everett bought several farms in Isle of Wight and Surrey counties and farmed together until 1959. The family raised cattle and farmed crops including wheat, soybeans, and corn. Proper harvesting and protection of that grain was key to the success of the farm.
After the corn dried in the field, it was pulled by hand, and then it was put into the barn. And the barn is made of huge logs which have spaces in between them, so that if the corn's not completely dry, the wind will blow through and it will dry the corn and keep it from spoiling. The corn was then used to feed the animals. If it was used for cows or for horses, it was just fed as it was. If it was used for chickens, it had to be shelled off the cob. Yeah, I remember Mama having chickens, and we would have to shell the corn, to feed to the chickens, so we'd have to go there and get it and shell it.
The basic corn crib consists of a roofed bin elevated on posts or piers with slats in the walls to allow air to circulate through the corn, both allowing it to dry initially and stay dry. The slats expose the corn to pests, so corn cribs are elevated beyond the reach of rodents. The Doggett Corncrib is square and sits on brick piers. The walls are constructed of cypress logs, and each side has a covered run-in. The corn crib's southeast elevation features a single-leaf Z-brace door.
And this was built in 1870. That's a long time for those logs to stay that. If you look at the logs on the front and then compare them to the ones that are on the side, you can tell how these are much less weathered than the ones out front because they've been protected. There were 2 stalls that were here. You can see where the footing is still here for the middle part of it, so they did have a place to put their horses.
Shucking or husking parties were an important event for farmers. After the annual harvest, corn was prepared for storage by removing the silky husk that trapped moisture and caused rotting. Gatherings of this type happened at this corn crib around the turn of the century. Today, they use the corn crib for storage, but it serves as a reminder of the family's history with agriculture.
The main thing when I see corn to be bought, I'm very picky over what I buy. Daddy used to plant the Silver Queen corn, and that's like my standard for corn that you eat.